What is up, everyone, and welcome to a virtual edition of the MMA Bourbon Appreciation Society. I am Jeremy Johnson, and I am in Louisville, Kentucky tonight. Jim Range in his home office, and Craig Nasello in parts unknown. Jimmy, how you doing?
Doing well, Jeremy. It's kind of different not having everybody side by side, not being able to pass a drink to you.
Yeah, it's a little different. Craig, how's it going over there? I hear the dogs barking, and we got to talk a minute about what is that on your lip? I mean, what is this?
Uh,
Are you growing? I mean, are you switching careers here on us?
Ron Jeremy?
no. Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I said Ron Jeremy.
No, no, no. I was just trying something different. I've never. I can't grow facial hair usually. So
Boy, that has
this is
become
like
abundantly clear that you can't grow facial hair.
This is like 3 or 4 weeks old at this point. So I'm, like I shave like once a week. So it's pretty funny.
Wow, that's something. I'm not even sure what to call that, but no, tonight
Uh,
we are coming at you from all over, and so we wanted to. It's been a while. We wanted to make sure that we got a show out for you this week. Producer Matt, big thanks to him for taking care of this on the back end. I was hoping he was going to show himself on camera, but I kind of doubt it. So, but guys, we generally we make a drink for you and all of that, but tonight we can't do that from where we're at, so we're all going to hold up a drink for you. Cheers to everybody out there in the
Looks very
audience tonight.
similar.
It really does. So, Jimmy, what are you drinking tonight?
Got a bourbon smash.
Very nice. I think that was the drink that we were going to make if we could have gotten together on this. But talk about kind of what the process is of it and what goes into it.
It's really quite simple to make. Some mint leaves, simple syrup, and lemon. You muddle it all together. Then you add in your bourbon, and it's usually 3/4 ounce of simple syrup with it, a half a lemon, and then you add 2 ounces of bourbon and your ice. Shake it up, strain it. And I know, Jeremy, you do yours a little bit different.
Yeah, I do mine. I add a little orange juice to it, but it's a very similar, great cocktail. Now, Craig, what goes along well with the porn stash tonight as far as what you're drinking?
Buffalo Trace. Come on now. That's my go-to.
All right, fair, very fair.
Straight. Well, it's got ice. Okay, it's
well,
not just
I know that's your cocktail make is ice. So no, tonight I myself here I am having a Gold Rush. So little bourbon, little honey syrup, little lemon juice, good squeeze, good shake. Works perfectly here, especially in the land of bourbon down here in Louisville. So, guys, I have had a very weird one today, and it's been kind of the craziest thing I think I've done thus far in the world of whiskey creation and business. I mean, I may have a whiskey coming out, but I actually got to go to Maker's Mark today, and I know that we're all going to talk about how Jeremy has talked smack on Maker's Mark, but today I actually was working with a private retailer to build their their private select pick today. One of the coolest things I think I've done. I know, Jimmy, you've been around a lot of the privates and all of that kind of thing. It's just a cool thing to be involved in.
Yeah, it is. And the whole concept that you're picking this barrel, it's your flavor profile you're choosing for it. That when you think about it, Blanton's a single barrel. But the fact that you're going into something that's normally blended, they mix the barrels together, come out to their proof, and you're saying, I want this barrel and the profile with it. There's a lot to be said for that. And I mean, it's amazing how sought after single barrels are, especially from certain stores.
Yeah.
No matter what
barrel
bourbon
picks
it is.
Yeah, and I know, Craig, in your travels, you've seen a lot of stores that have barrel picks, their own, and they just become a hot collector's item themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the one thing I will say with my other job. I deliver to a lot of gas stations and large retail stores. And I had one store on my route that they would always get us like special things if I asked for them, and he could get them because he was such a big retailer for spirits. And he has a barrel pick, and I've got a bottle of it, and it's very, very good. And it's very, very inexpensive for a bourbon, honestly. I mean, I think I paid 120 for it, and
Oh, wow,
that's
yeah,
not
that's not bad at
bad.
all.
That's not bad for a bourbon, for a good bourbon, I should say.
No, absolutely. I got to sit down today for a big kind of in-depth, really behind the scenes tour of the Maker's Mark facility. Pretty interesting. Got to work on flavor profiles, pick, blend together, come out with something that is completely unique. And so it was a good time today. And like I said, one of the cooler things that I have done in the business, and sometimes it just amazes me what, you get paid to sit down and play with whiskey for about
I
six,
mean,
7 hours a day.
Rough life.
I'm super excited for it to come out because I know exactly where this place is. It's right down the road from
Right.
my house, so I definitely am gonna go grab a bottle of it.
Well, yeah, I'm stoked about it, and we'll talk more about it kind of whenever it gets closer to coming out. It takes about 6 to 8, or about 6 to 9 weeks, so should be fun. But there has been some big news in the world of bourbon, and there has been a couple of huge shakeups, really, in the news, the business side of it. Jimmy, kind of talk about the big news of MGP acquiring. We're all based out of St. Louis, Missouri, acquiring Luxo, which is one of the biggest distributors in the world.
Yeah, I mean that I don't know where that came from. It's like wow. And MGP,
Popped out of
the biggest
nowhere.
supplier, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like crazy. I didn't hear anything about it, and the next thing you know, it's boom. Okay, it's in the news. What would they end up buying it for, Jimmy? I don't even remember.
I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but it was a fairly significant number.
So
what's that do for them? What's that do for MPG?
it opens a whole new world.
I'm asking. I'm just.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm asking. I legitimately do not know what. I mean, I know it's a distributor, but
Personally, having worked with retail and wholesale organizations in the past, it puts their foothold in both places.
okay.
Yes.
Now they've still got their wholesaler that supplies the MGP juice to other distilleries, and we know how big that market is. They've
Right.
also got a retail segment now then to produce that and put that they can bottle their own and put it on the market if they wanted to, in
Okay.
addition
Well,
to the Luxco products.
So basically, it just puts a stronghold on their products. Then, really,
absolutely.
I mean, they produce it, and then now they can ship it, or not ship it, but you know what I'm saying. Get it out to the retail. And
Yeah,
it's all in there. It's all in house now. It's not them producing it and then selling it to somebody and then marking it up more, and then because they got to sell it. It's gonna be more of a profit for MPG.
well,
I would imagine.
oh, definitely there. But I think what it does is you think about, let's look at Buffalo Trace and everything coming out of Sazerac
Right.
and everything. Now you've got MGP that has that core product of Luxco. They've also got their ability to market theirs out of there. So it's like now MGP has a throughput that they can produce their own and retail it, but they've still got
Right.
to supply to everybody else.
Well, my question is if that's the case, then can they get me some freaking Buffalo Trace in my area? Because I'm tired of trying to find it. I mean, I'm down to one bottle left.
Oh, that's a bad day. If you're down to one bottle, Craig Nacella, what are you going to do about that?
I just had to open my fresh bottle tonight.
That saddens me for you. I'll see if I can find you some while I'm down here. But the
I just
other
had a-
big news.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
No, the other big news of this week is what happened to the liquor delivery market this week. The pandemic has kept us all in our houses. The ability to get liquor delivered to your door has been a huge thing. And then the biggest player in the business steps up and takes over.
Yeah. And this is the one that Craig goes, why the hell didn't I think of that?
Right.
Drizzly getting bought out by Uber.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
so now the Uber of the liquor distribution world is Uber. That's crazy. And I want to say it was something like insane, like $1.1 billion.
It was retarded. I mean, where do you? I'm sorry.
No, it's incredible to me to think that, and that's sprung from the pandemic. I mean, it really has the ability to order a bottle of Buffalo Trace at 20 minutes notice, and next thing you know, boom, it's at your door.
that's the case. I
It's
can do
unheard
that.
of.
When's that take over?
We need to really get Craig some Buffalo Trace.
No kidding.
I mean, just in general. I mean, not even just Buffalo Trace. Like, say I want a Blanton's. Say I want. I mean, are they going to find it? I mean, because
So
I'm tired of looking. I get tired of looking.
Drizzly works with local liquor stores. I don't know if you
Right.
ever ordered from them,
No, I haven't.
but they work with local liquor stores. So you have to go in and see what they've got in stock.
Okay.
It's like doing your grocery shopping online.
Yeah, it's like the
Mm.
Instacart of liquor stores.
Yeah, it's Instacart
So-
liquor. Yep.
Yeah, so
Never done it,
you
so-
basically you put it to where it's local to you, and so if they don't have Blanton's, you're not going to get it. You know, you can try, but they're not going to have it. So I'm assuming that probably all of the Sazerac products that everybody wants is always going to be on that list of hard to get, but still huge amounts of money that has went out there because, you know, everybody's drinking in the pandemic. Diageo came out with a 30% gain in their market share over the pandemic. That's amazing. People are lit worse than Craig Nostello's mustache right now.
But you think about it, Jeremy. I mean, we even use, some of our friends use Drizzly around the holidays. We did a bourbon share with, there was 10 or 12 of us got together. We randomly drew names and sent a bourbon to somebody in a certain price point. Several of the people used Drizzly that they wanted somebody's address so they could have it delivered, because it was people we didn't all know everybody. A couple of us knew us all, but for the most part, it's just pulling bourbon friends together to do something because we're all in damn lockdown and can't go your normal selves. But I know Drizzly was used by several people for gift giving with it. I've had it
Glad you
delivered.
guys.
Somebody sent a gift with it.
Nice. I'm glad you guys are in lockdown because that's not practiced at Frito-Lay. I mean, at a company I work for.
Well, I mean, as you can see,
Unless
here
you're management, unless you're management, then you can then you don't have to come to work. Sorry.
Well, I mean, as you can see here, I'm traveling on the road. I don't care anymore. You know, it's fine. But speaking though of all of the price points and everything that's coming out there, we didn't have a sip, sink, or save tonight because we couldn't be in the same rooms to make it all work. But we did come up with something. I think that Jimmy, you had a great idea about this, and that's playing the price point game. So kind of talk us through it.
Yeah. So, and we've tried, and we started out that, hey, what do we got in our cabinet we're going to throw out there?
And everybody gave us trouble.
Well, yeah, we got feedback on, hey, what's it cheaper? What can we find? So we're sitting there the other day, we're talking, I go, guys, let's do something a little bit different with this. And we picked 4 price points: under 25, 25 to 45, 45 to 75, and over 75. And each of us, what's our favorite bourbon in that price point? Because honestly, we've covered all these price points more than once. So, I mean, because this is our 12th show now, which is hard to believe anyway, but it was something different that I thought, let's go on and just talk about what's in our price points for those. And honestly, I think every one of us has something in each of those price points at home anyway, out of the 3 of us.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes. Yes.
So, all right. So,
Jeremy,
Craig, we're going to start with
25.
you.
Oh,
I want to start with Craig because
Why
we
I
all
gotta
know that
first?
Craig did his homework about what he really was into.
I think I just
So-
did this like 5 minutes ago, didn't I?
So,
we
all
coached
right. Biggest thing though, all right, we're talking retail price, ladies and gentlemen. We're not talking secondary markets or any of that stuff. What can you find at retail price? And it has to be readily available. So we want you guys to let us know on Twitter at MMA Bourbon, which are your picks when you hear our price ranges. All right, first up, Craig, under $25. What is your go-to that you can get?
I'm going with a classic, and it's not considered a bourbon, but we had an argument earlier that it is. But we're going to probably discuss this a little bit more now. But Jack Daniels, just straight up classic
Tennessee
Jack
whiskey.
Daniels.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's fine. I'm with you. It's great
I'm
whiskey.
just telling you. This is between you two, but I don't care, and that's just, to me, bourbon and whiskey are almost the same. So I would consider. I'm just going with Jack Daniels. I like it. It's still a go-to. I'll still drink it. It's cheap. It tastes great. They know what they're doing over there. It doesn't change. It's the same, you know, from bottle to bottle, it's the same stuff. To me,
That is a great pick. However, it's not bourbon. Jimmy Range, why is Jack Daniel's bourbon? Let's hear it.
It meets all the qualifications. It's 51% single barrel, 51% corn, single barrel.
Okay.
It's aged properly. The only thing it doesn't, it's the finish.
And that's why it's not bourbon.
Because
you guys
it's
can argue this out. I don't
no.
care.
charcoal filter.
The Lincoln County method is what negates the fact that Jack Daniel's is bourbon. Whenever you run it through the charcoal in the process that they do it, from the drip from the top to the bottom, I'm not talking of filtration. I'm talking the actual drip from the top to the bottom after it has been aged, turns it to Lincoln County method, and that becomes Tennessee whiskey. What you got to say to that, Jimmy Range?
We'll just move on to larceny.
All right. So Jimmy Range, under $25. What is your pick?
Larceny.
It's a great pick.
It's got a solid
Why?
profile top to bottom. I mean, it's out of the Heaven Hill family. So.
All right. Well, mine for under 25 is a pretty new to the market product. It comes to us by way of Buffalo Trace, and it is called Ancient Age. We're talking $15 to $18 a bottle. It is Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 2, so it's coming off the same base as Blanton's. It comes the same age as Blanton's at about 4 to 6 years. What it does is it cuts down to about 80 proof, so it's a very drinkable, easy to drink bourbon. Great product. Check it out at, like I said, between 12 and 20 bucks. So a great product there. All right, moving to 25 to 45. Craig Nasello, what you got?
Come on, Buffalo Trace, all day long.
Good.
All day
Beautiful.
long.
Yep.
Now, Jimmy and
I don't even have to.
we had the conversation though, does that count because Buffalo Trace is becoming harder to get?
I mean, it does, because it wasn't at one point. I don't know why all of a sudden it's hard to get. Is it because of the pandemic it's hard to get, or is it because they're just stupid and don't produce enough?
Oh no, they produce a ton.
I know they do. I just don't understand why we can't get it in our area. I see it in other areas that it's readily available. I don't understand why in our area all of a sudden it's so hard to find. I can find sipping cream all day long. I can't find just a straight bottle of Buffalo Trace.
I think a lot of it has to do with demand and the fact that now that people are jacking it up like it's an allocated, which kills me because it's not. All right, Jimmy Range, $25 to $45. What you got for me?
So I'm going back and forth, and one of them you turned me on.
Does it involve the Lincoln County method and Jack Daniels?
No, it does not. We're safe there. But it's one you turned me on to a couple of weeks ago that I've had and hadn't really thought about it, but we had it on one of our Sink Sipper saves. And if I recall correctly, it was probably Buffalo Trace, Long Branch, and Old Granddad Bonded were the three. My heart, because of Long Branch being my breakout in 2019, going into 20, I stuck with Long Branch, but Old Granddad Bonded is pretty damn good. And between that and Long Branch and that price point, I mean, it's a tough call for me. But that Bonded, I've sipped it a few times since. I actually used Long Branch in the Bourbon Smash tonight, but the other night I broke out the Old Granddad Bonded. So it's turning into a staple in the Range household.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I'm actually going to jump to the higher end of the $45 with another Old Granddad product. That's Old Granddad 114. 114 proof, amazing flavor profile coming from it. Makes a mean cocktail because it keeps the proof up. It's a beautiful one. Runs about $45 a bottle. That is definitely my choice. So, all right, Craig, $45 to $75. We're talking now, we're getting up there a little bit. We're getting up there a little bit in price range. So what would be your thought on, give me what you would think, 45, 75. I know you're thinking hard.
Yeah, because I had it all wrote down, but I can't find it now. Uh, the problem of it is it's not readily available, and it's Blanton's. I mean, Blanton's is a good one. It's just hard to find. So it's one of those things. It's like, do I go with that one because it's a little harder to find than something else, or do I go with a different bottle? Which I'm just gonna go with the straight Blanton's because it's good. Plain and simple.
It's very solid, and it's $65 retail, which is what everybody should be paying for it. It's great. Stop paying $150 a pop for it, and people will stop selling it at that rate. It is what it is. All right, Jimmy range, $45 to $75.
So one of my favorites in that, Rock Hill Farms. But
Oh, if you can find it. If you can find it. I mean, I got 2 bottles myself with you, but
I mean, I got lucky enough. I got that, and I won that one. So I'm going Old Forester 1920. It's at the lower end of the range. Well, actually, it's about in the middle. It's $55-$60, and it's just got that really good profile to it. You get that spicy finish like you get with a rye. Not quite as spicy as a rye, but you get that dark chocolate and add on your initial flavor with it and caramel. So it's a great sipping bourbon in that price range. I don't even mix that one. That one I sip.
Yeah, when you start to hit the $45 to $75 range, you really are looking at your sippers. I'm going a little bit different of a route, and that is a finished bourbon, and that is going to be Angel's Envy. Angel's Envy is huge. I love everything about it. Comes from Lincoln Henderson, one of the originals of the Jack Daniels franchise, keeping that Lincoln County method because it's not bourbon. But no, Angel's Envy, amazing on ice, amazing neat, makes a great cocktail. Check it out. It's one of those that is still pretty readily available. It has picked up a lot in the past few years, but they also have really upped their production. I know that there has been a lot of work on their distillery to boost production. So I'm stoked for that one. Go try it out also.
You can find their cask strength.
Oh, their cask strength's incredible.
It's so above and beyond.
Yeah. These guys really should be paying us for all this good ads, but is what it is. All right. This is the one that really gets fun because we're talking above $75 retail. So, Mr. Range, we're talking the high dollar stuff. What you got?
So it's funny you said Angel's Envy, because one of my go-tos in that price range, when you can find it, so I didn't put it as my primary, Angel's Envy Rye. But
okay.
It's hard to find. It's usually allocated to one bottle. But with that, I'm going to stick to any of my Whistle Pig 10, 12, 15.
Jump into the ryes. All right. Okay.
I mean, I'm a rye guy, and if I'm going at that point of what I'm going for, not that there's not a lot of bourbons out there too, but I mean, how many bottles of Whistle Pig do I have in the house? 3 or 4 10s and a 15. So, yeah.
How many bottles of Jack Daniels do you have?
A couple. You're under the counter. I hide them from you. I don't want you drunk on the show.
Drunk on the show. Yeah, imagine that. I've never done that before.
No, not at all. All right, Craig Nasello, give me the high dollars, buddy.
So I'm gonna go with and I've been singing their praises for a while now. A local, well, not local, but DeKalb. It's called Whiskey Acres. They actually just came out with a bottled and bonded also. That's really good. But their regular rye or their bourbon is amazing. It's $75.99 or $76.99 per bottle. And you can get it anywhere. Friar Tuck's has got it all day long. I think who else has got Randall's has it. A couple of different places have it. I haven't seen it at Schnucks or anything. No, actually, I think it is at Schnucks. I say that, but very, very good. And you can go with either one, the rye or the bourbon. I prefer the bourbon over the rye. I don't like ryes too much. So
Interesting call. Okay, and I have liked the Whiskey Acre stuff they've come up with lately too. They've come up with some interesting corn differences.
A
You know, they
popcorn
did the
one or something like that
popcorn.
now.
They
Yeah,
did popcorn. They did blue corn. Um, really
I haven't
cool
tried
ideas
that.
into their mash bill. It's
I,
pretty good.
I haven't tried the popcorn one. I want to. I haven't found it yet. So
Yeah, gives a little bit of sweeter flavor to it. All right, my above $75. I've kind of kicked this one back and forth because we played the rule of it's got to be readily available. But I mean, you know, because I could have said Pappy's 15 because it was bourbon of the year per Fred Minnick this year, but I'm not. I'm actually going with Weller 12. Weller 12 to me is the ultimate sipping bourbon at the moment. What you're getting is you're getting that weeded mash bill. You are getting basically Van Winkle Lot B that the Van Winkle family didn't pick the barrels. It's the same juice. It's the same time. It's the same mash. It's $500 less in price. You know, you're looking at a retail price supposedly of around $75 to $80. To me, there is none higher in the weeded mash bills of bourbon than Weller 12. If you can find it. If you can't, you're out of luck. Order it. It's well worth it. So, all right. I'm stoked about this one. I think we keep this group up too. I kind of like this little challenge. But remember, guys, this is all brought to you by Bucks Burley Hair Care Products. Check it out at bucksburley.com. I can tell that Craig doesn't have any in tonight. He might have a little bit in the mustache, but you know, it's all right. We'll let him slide with that tonight. So
is that better?
no,
Is it
go
out of
check it
shape?
out.
Huh.
Go check it out at bucksburley.com and on Amazon. Search Bucks Burley. Tell them you heard about it on the MMA Bourbon Appreciation Society. All right, guys. Now, there has been a ton in mixed martial arts. We have to go back a couple of weeks, and that was Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier. What a crazy card. And what about ESPN blowing it up and not serving half of the people who tried to buy the pay-per-view, including me? That was great. So, Jimmy, what were your thoughts on that fight?
I mean, I don't even know where to start because he didn't fight his normal fight. I didn't feel. I mean, he had no idea how to check leg kicks. I mean, he looked like almost an Ami walking in with it for that aspect. I know it's a harsh statement, but he didn't check anything. The positions he put himself in, I didn't think was smart. And he admitted the other day he's looking forward to Pacquiao, which amazes me. Somebody at that level doing that. I mean, he's looking to that payday versus what he's got in front of him that's made him what he is. That totally caught me off guard with it.
Absolutely. Craig, give me your thoughts. Was this the Conor McGregor of old, or was this the Conor McGregor who had too much money, or is this the Conor McGregor who was really thinking about boxing?
First thing, everybody's like on this Conor McGregor shit, dude. What about Dustin Poirier's performance? Why are we dissecting Conor McGregor? How about we dissect Dustin Poirier's performance when he come in there and just whooped his ass? Now I go back and forth on Conor. I like him, I hate him, I like him, I hate him, I like him, I hate him. Now after what I heard what he did for Dustin Poirier's foundation, I will always like the man. I don't care. You just gave someone $500,000 for their foundation. That goes a long way with me. First
And
thing.
helped
Second
him
thing,
distribute the hot sauce that Poirier
right,
came out with.
right. So my thought on this is I'm not going to sit here and bash on McGregor. Did he look bad? No. Did Poirier look amazing? Yes. That's my thought on it. Dustin come in, implemented his game plan, and won the fight. Period. He went in there and whooped his ass. Plain and simple. It's just how it is. It's mixed martial arts.
I agree with that. Dustin Poirier was not the Dustin Poirier that these guys who fought in 2014.
Dude, Dustin Poirier has changed so much in the past 6 years. The guy is a killer. Who's he lost to in the last 6 years? McGregor?
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, he's beat everybody.
There's a lot to him. The biggest thing though that I saw, because I mean, let's face it, the fight draw was Connor. It was.
Yeah,
Jimmy,
it's always
you
going to be.
mentioned, and you mentioned the leg kick ideas, but you and I both coming from the world of boxing. Connor to me had boxing footwork. He forgot that he was in an MMA fight.
And that's where I was going to leg kicks. It's like he
Yeah.
had no idea how to block a kick or anything. He put himself in awkward situations because he was boxing.
Yeah, his stance was different. Where he always had the hand forward for the parry, for the overhand. It wasn't there anymore. And
It was a
so I
karate
think,
stance. It's the karate stance is usually what he's in.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And this, he went to a more traditional boxing stance.
Right.
And
We'll
as
see
we
what
all
that,
know, that it
see what
doesn't
that
work.
ended, right?
Well, yeah.
To give Poirier credit, I think that's where he took advantage and got Conor against a cage, because he picked up that he could attack that stance, that he wasn't in a position to defend himself if he were to try to change position. And that's where the finish came from.
Well, let's be honest. Also, he ain't worried about Conor McGregor's wrestling or submissions.
No.
I mean, it's going to be a stand-up war. So why not go forward? Plain and simple. Dustin Poirier. Excuse me.
It's that mustache that gets you every time.
He has upped his game so much. It's just he's impressed me. I've been a fan of his for a long time, but he really made even more of a fan of me that fight, just because, or this last like 4 or 5 fights, he's just been on a tear, man. He's on a tear, and I think he deserves a shot at either Khabib, or if Khabib's not going to come out of retirement, him and Charles Oliveira need to fight for the title. They're 1 and 2 in the rankings. That's who needs to fight for the title. Not Michael Chandler, who just had his first fight in the UFC. I'm sorry, but no. Michael Chandler's name doesn't even need to be brought up at this point. Chandler needs about 4 or 5 fights in the UFC before he gets a shot at that title. What's he proved? He knocked out Dan Hooker. Great. Cool. Okay. And don't get me wrong. I wanted to see Chandler do well because he's from Bellator and I work for Bellator. Just to prove that our fighters are great.
Now, I do have something I want to bring up in that. Did you guys notice in his announcements and his walkouts, they mentioned him as a former Bellator champion? That's the first time in UFC history they have mentioned another organization.
Yes.
A rival organization that they have not bought. Well, right. I was going to say, because they used to say Pride, but
right. Strike Force.
Yeah, but they mentioned Bellator. How big is that?
It's pretty big. I mean, I think it's a big deal. I mean, you got to think about it. Chandler was a longtime champion at Bellator. I mean, he lost to Primus and then won that belt back, and then Patricio just knocked him out in 60 seconds. But Patricio's another story. That guy I think he's the best 45er in the world, period. That guy's amazing.
So also, you made an interesting comment is, well, where does that put Khabib? So after that, and after all of the news and all the media now that's settled for a couple of weeks, Jim Range, is Khabib coming back?
I'm trying to figure out what it's going to take to get him back. I'm not sure
because
yet.
It evidently isn't money.
No. I truly think he's done. He's at a point in his career with his father being gone that he can say, I've reached the pinnacle of where I needed to reach, and I can walk away a proud man and not have any regrets.
All right, Craig Nasello, is Khabib coming back?
I agree with Jimmy on that. I don't think he has anything to prove. He's 29-0. Yeah, he wants to get to 30-0, or wanted to get to 30-0, but then his father passed away. And his father is a big, big, big part of his program, his life, his training camp. I mean, just everything about him. And I get why he doesn't want to go on without his father. Why? What's he got to prove? He's UFC champion. He went out as a UFC champion. I mean, do I think anybody in the UFC in the top 5 can beat him? It's a good possibility, but I don't see
Who beats him? Who beats him, Craig?
I think Poirier and Oliveira have the best chances right now of beating him, just because they're both on such hot streaks, and they're both just killers at this point. Now, it's if they can withstand the wrestling, or stop the wrestling of Khabib. That's the biggest issue. I mean, that's the issue for everybody. I mean, look what he did to Justin Gaethje. I mean, Justin Gaethje is a killer, and he made him look like a clown. I'm sorry, but he
Big
did.
time.
He whooped his ass, and Gaethje's not. Gaethje's a stud, dude. But I mean, it happens. I mean, Khabib is just on a whole nother level than everybody else. They keep, saying him and George St. Pierre, but do you really want to see that fight? A guy that's been retired for.
George St.
Why?
Pierre's almost 40 years old. What would be the point?
Now, if it was George St. Pierre in his prime, and him in his prime, then I definitely want to see it then. But not take anything away from George. But why? Can George even make 55? That's the other question.
Right. I mean, let's face it. He beat Bisping at 185 because he didn't want to cut weight anymore.
Right.
That fight I think is completely off the table. I don't think Khabib comes back. I think Dana White gave him a giant sum of money. I've heard an astronomical figure. We're talking almost Conor McGregor money. And he said no. He said, if I see something that maybe interests me, maybe. Now, to me, if I was a man after money, I would have been like, all right, let's do this. Pick the person. I'll do one more. I'll beat him, and then I'll go live in infamy in Russia and just
I don't think
be good.
It's not even just the money. I don't think he needs the money. I think he's got plenty of money. I think he has plenty of money in Russia. I could be wrong, but I'm sure he does.
The Russian government takes care of their star athletes from their Olympians up. So him as a professional athlete is taken care of, I'm sure, by the government if you would need like Putin level government. So no, I think that in the fight world, I don't think is what it is. It's all about the challenge. And I don't think that he sees the challenge anymore.
Yeah.
Producer Matt, who does he come back? Yes or no? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Nope. Producer Matt says nope, he's not coming back.
And I don't blame him.
Isn't he trying to start his own fight league to feed into UFC?
I think so.
That's what he wants to do now. So I think he's moving into that businessman world and doesn't want to cross over. I think he's fighting once to grow fighters.
But how old is he now? I don't even remember.
He's early 30s. I mean, it's not
so
old,
okay. So
right.
Okay, so let's think about this. He's in his early 30s. He really hasn't taken a ton of damage. I mean, he's had injuries and stuff like that, but he's not been beating his head a million times. You know what I'm saying? So why not get out before you have onset CTE or, have the problems that some of these like Spencer Fisher's having at this point? Why take these chances with these wars when, one, you've made your money, two, you were the champion, three, you're undefeated. Okay. No one's beat you. No one's even been, I don't think anybody's even won a round against him, have they?
No.
I mean,
no.
The guy is amazing. So why keep pushing it? Why take that chance of getting hurt or causing permanent damage to your body or your brain? You're still young enough. You can either do something else, like Jimmy said, he's going to start his own league. So, I mean, why not? Why not? I don't blame him.
I don't think he likes the limelight either.
He seems like a very reserved,
mellow, laid back, behind the scenes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I personally never met him. I would love to. I think he's a one of a kind person, or one of a kind fighter, and person that comes every once in a while.
He's a once in a lifetime fighter. I really think that in the world of MMA.
Right.
And tell us what you guys think in the comments here of the show. I can see some going through. looks like professional fighter turned restaurateur Colton Cole. Check him out at Cole's Hearth Room. He is definitely thinking that Connor was preparing for the boxing match like we had talked about. I think that one, it's absolutely what it was. And also, Jimmy, nobody thinks that Jack Daniels is bourbon.
We need to go down to Colton's. I want to try. I've been seeing his food online, and oh my god, it looks amazing. I definitely want to get down there and try some of his food.
Absolutely.
Maybe do a remote from down there.
So Jimmy, I know that you had a couple other topics. I think have we hit everything tonight that we were looking at doing? Because I give you all kinds of credit. Thank you very much for making sure that all of this worked this week. Producer Matt, again, great job from doing this. So, and Craig, I love the porn stash.
I'm not done. I have a question.
Oh my Lord, here we go.
No, sir. No, this is a legit question. What did you guys think of Chandler? Where do you guys stand with Michael Chandler?
I was afraid you were going to go here. All right, I'll take it. Jimmy Range, first off, Michael Chandler. Give me your thoughts.
Why do you think he deserves a fight?
No, my thing is, who's he fight next? Poirier said, "I don't want anything to do with you."
He's not even ranked.
He's not ranked. But he's coming in at the level. And my question with it is, I mean, we've watched him, Craig. I've shot a hell of a ton of Bellator fights.
I understand that.
We've seen Chandler fight live. Jimmy, you have shot tons of them here in St. Louis.
And the thing is, he's not just an incredible wrestler. He's a striker too. He's an all-around fighter when it comes at that level. And
I'm not taking anything away from his skill.
No.
I'm just saying I don't think he deserves to leapfrog guys in the UFC that have been there and established themselves. I'm just that's all I'm saying.
I don't think
that's where I'm at.
But I think he deserves a top 3 or 4 fight.
I don't disagree with that. I could see him. I could see maybe fighting a Tony Ferguson. I think that might be a good fight.
So do you think, though, that Michael Chandler coming, and this is no offense to Bellator, coming from Bellator is going to be the household name that people in the UFC are?
No.
Possibly.
Okay. Why?
Just because he already has a name established with Bellator.
Okay, but what I'm saying is was Bellator's audience reach enough? I don't think so either.
No, that's my point. He's got to earn that to get to the top, to have that name spread. And I think part of the stigma right now with him is, let's pick on Askren for a second. I love following Askren on media.
Well, just wait, because Askren's my gotcha tonight.
Not great. So I'm feeding you already. I'm starting to think like you. But how much of Chandler doesn't deserve it is because of Askren comes in, rocks it, shoots, and he's out cold, and he's gone. Are people looking at Chandler the same way? Coming in because he hasn't done his time through the UFC ranks, he's been quote unquote Bellator, which is looked at.
I could see that as a good possibility, but I honestly think him winning in the fashion he did against Dan Hooker just legitimizes that Bellator has legit fighters. Plain and simple.
I'm not saying that, and especially to us, the people in the fight business know that Bellator has top level fighters. I would love to see the Pitbull brothers make the jump to the UFC or something to that effect to let them see that.
I would miss them over at Bellator because those are two of the nicest guys you've ever met.
Absolutely.
And Patricio and Patricky are just that whole team is just amazing.
Yeah, I'm going a different route with this, guys. I want UFC Bellator belt.
Cross promotion.
Never happen. It will never happen.
No, it won't. But
the only way that it would ever, I could maybe see it with ONE FC, because ONE FC has that.
Well, we already do it, right?
They're overseas. It's a different animal. I don't.
It won't.
No.
Well, Bellator already does it with Ryzen.
Well, absolutely, but the biggest organization in the world is going to say, "Nah, there's no reason." I think that's why it was such a big deal, though, for them to say the Bellator name in the broadcast was gigantic, and it was a gigantic win for Bellator that the
Oh, yeah.
biggest organization in the world just acknowledged you existed, and that's big.
Makes
They
me
have
think they're
to.
going to buy them.
Wow, interesting thought, Jimmy Range. Let's start the rumor mill there. Go let us know on
No,
Twitter at
no,
MMA Bourbon.
No, don't start that rumor. Please don't start that rumor.
All right. Speaking of it, though, I have got one more for tonight, and I want to know everyone's thoughts in the comments on Twitter, on Instagram, all of our socials. Check them out at MMA Bourbon, MMA Bourbon Society. But Jake Paul and Ben Askren.
Why is this coming up? I knew
Because,
it would.
okay, first and foremost, no. Why is this even happening? Number
Why not?
two,
It's the limelight.
if Ben Askren loses to Jake Paul, how big of a black eye is this on the MMA world?
It's huge.
I don't think it's that
Problem
big.
is, Askren's not a striker.
Exactly. That's why I don't think it's that big.
Can he take a hit? And Paul's
Evidently not from
Paul's
Masvidal's
gonna
knee.
swing around with him.
You beat me to
What'd he say?
that tickled me
And
too
I
much.
have successfully killed Craig Nasello. Thank you very much. No, I said he couldn't handle Masvidal's knees.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, okay, Ben Askren right now represents our sport to every flipping YouTuber, 12-year-old kid, everyone out there is now like, okay, well, now I got to find out who this Ben Askren is because he's going to beat the best boxer in the world, who's Jake Paul. And I hate everything about that.
Oh, I'm right there.
I look at it like this. If Ben Askren's getting paid, good for Ben Askren. Go for it, buddy. You know, I'm indifferent to this. I hope Ben goes in there and beats his ass. But then again, it'd be kind of funny if he got knocked out. I'm sorry.
No, it wouldn't. But
I'm sorry, it would be. To me, it would be. I mean, I'm an asshole. You guys all know that.
Yeah. You know,
and little things like that make me think. I think it's funny because you stepped up, ran your mouth, and stepped up, and then you got knocked out. Now, give him somebody that is legit a striker, like let's say.
But how many people are going to know that? There is no
Carlos
run-of-the-mill 13-year-old girl who follows Jake Paul that's going to know that other than this guy was in the UFC.
But here's the thing. They're not going to watch any MMA anyway. Because all they care about
is this guy is now the face
of boxing,
of our sport.
No, he's not.
A ton.
Jake Paul is a face of boxing to our sport.
No. Ben Askren is now the face of our sport to all these people who think Jake Paul is an actual boxer.
I guess I see what you're saying, but I just don't think he. I mean, I just don't think he can beat him. But I mean, Jake Paul is training with legit people.
You don't think who can beat who?
I don't think Jake Paul can beat Askren. No,
Askren can't box. He can't strike at all.
Well,
okay. So this is going to bring me to my last one. Did you see the video of Ben Askren hitting the heavy bag? I cried a little bit in my soul, and I wanted to go hide.
Yeah.
Because I have a bet. I have a bet with my co-host on Down Goes Frazier coming up of he thinks that Jake Paul is going to beat Ben Askren. And so
he also thinks wrestling's real.
Well, there's that. But
I mean,
so all right, but it all comes down to it. Jim Range, give me your prediction. Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. What's the outcome?
I hate to say it. I think Paul knocks him out.
Oh, the boxing guy just did us in. Okay.
No, I mean, Askren can't strike, and he cannot defend striking. And Paul's coming in as a brawler.
All I know is Colton Cole just gave us the face palm there. All right, Craig Nasello, what is the outcome of Jake Paul versus Ben Askren? I can't believe I'm even doing this.
Ben Askren gets paid and wins by boredom. Because I'd rather watch nothing. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah,
we'll
please
have to put
don't.
explicit up.
Oh,
I mean, I have zero interest in this. I mean, zero. Now, don't get me wrong. If someone wants to hire me to be their cut man, I will go there for a nice chunk of change all day long. I will work either corner. I will cheer you on the whole time. If you're winning or losing, I don't care. But I have zero. I mean, I don't care. I just don't care.
You know, Craig,
well,
you hit
then,
a conversation I had this week. Actually, it was last week with a local boxing promoter. And I go, can you believe this? And I was talking to him and a sports writer. The three of us were talking. He goes, I haven't even watched the McGregor Mayweather fight. I don't give a crap about that shit.
Yeah.
Real boxers hate MMA guys, and they hate the crossovers
They
even
don't
more.
hate the MMA. They hate the farce that's being made with boxing right now, is what I want to call it.
You know, boxing's in a lull. It's kind of dying, I think, but that's just my opinion. I'm not a boxing fan. I mean, I'm a fan of a couple boxers, but I don't like search out to watch a boxing match. You know, I'd rather watch paint dry. I mean, it's just how I feel about it.
Well, it's going to be an interesting one, and we will cover that more here as we go along. But we want to thank everybody for the comments. Jimmy Range, final thoughts.
Looking forward to seeing you guys in person for the next show, if not before. Everybody, thanks for tuning in.
I thought we were getting together for Super Bowl.
Is that football?
Yes, it's football.
Yeah, I don't football. All right, Craig Nasello, final thoughts.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. Biggest thing though,
sports.
go to our Twitter account, and we're going to be running a poll. Should Craig Nasello keep the porn stash? Let us know a big yes or no on Twitter at MMA Bourbon.
I look like I'm like 14 trying to grow it out.
You look like something, and I'm not real sure what it is. So, all right, guys, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time right here at the MMA Bourbon Appreciation Society.
Bye, guys.
Cheers, everybody.